3 months ago, I switched from a MacBook Pro to my 13-inch framework laptop, and if you want to see the full video of me unboxing and installing the whole thing, that will be linked up here. But in this video, I'll give you my honest review after 3 months of using it. Now, just like the first video, this video is not sponsored by Framework. I am not affiliated with them. I don't have any contact with them. These are just my honest thoughts after using the product for 3 months. So I'll be going through the pros and cons and finishing up with my thoughts about this laptop. And starting with the pros, the first pro, of course, is going to be Linux. So this laptop allows you to install anything you want, anything will work on it. And the reason why I got it was so that I could run Linux wherever I was. Because I work remotely, I work mostly from home. And in the summer and springtime, I will take my camper van and travel all over Europe and then work from the road. So I was using my MacBook for that, but I was really missing Linux while I was on my trips like that. So what I wanted was a portable device that I could run Linux on in a good fashion. And for that, this device has been fantastic. Like, I've had no issues with drivers. Framework seems to be very much up to date with all of their drivers and all of the hardware. So I had no issues with that. And I've been running Linux on ThinkPads and other devices before, but for me, this is the ultimate Linux machine. Yes, that's the biggest pro. You can run Linux while you are traveling or on the road. The second pro is the screen. It has a high resolution and 120 Hz refresh rate, so you can definitely notice the difference when scrolling and everything. The viewing experience from the laptop and just watching videos or working on the command line, I really like the screen experience of this machine. The third pro, surprisingly, is the keyboard. So the MacBook Pro has this very more of a clicky keyboard, not much action. This keyboard, it's a lot softer. It's a very different. The first time I touched it, it was like, I'm not sure what I think about this. But at this point, I've typed thousands of words on this thing. Like, I'm a very big journaler. I take lots of notes, write a lot of code. And I gotta say, I really like the typing experience on this thing. It's a very soft, mushy feeling keyboard. And it just feels really nice, especially when you're having it on your lap. I somehow really like the feeling of it. And at this point, I actually prefer it over the Mac keyboard. Now, I went with the 13-inch format. And to me, this is like the perfect format for having it for my use case. I will mainly have this with me on the road. I'm using this in my camper van where you have limited space. And I also want to easily throw it in my backpack because I usually bring all of my valuable stuff with me when I'm leaving the camper van and going for a day trip or something like that. It is almost the same weight as a MacBook Pro. So I'm a big, strong guy, so I don't really care about weight. But it is a little bit on the heavy side in that sense. But the laptop in and of itself, the 13-inch, is very manageable and I have no issues with the weight. I really like the size of it. So for my use case, that is the best part of it. Now, the second use case for me is that I will have this at my house as my sort of laptop that I carry with me around the house. So I mainly work at my desk where I have my desktop, but then I'll also work in the living room and sometimes even in bed, which I don't recommend you do because you should dedicate your bed to sleep only, but do as I say and not as I do. So I do work in bed sometimes and I will recline in bed and work on the machine. And for that, it feels much nicer to have a 13-inch rather than a 16-inch. So I'm really glad I went with the 13-inch version. And my final use case is that I have this as my office laptop. So my business is doing well. So me and my co-founder, we were able to get a small studio like this. And for a few days a week, I will not work from home, but I'll go here to record videos and to work from here. And then I will just quickly chuck this one in my backpack. And this is basically my machine here that I use in the office. The final pro here is actually the fan noise. So what I really like about this laptop, it is silent during almost everything I do. So when I'm just like coding, typing, watching YouTube videos, or just the normal day-to-day usage, it never breaks a sweat. The fan does not turn on. You don't hear any sound of it. Now, when I'm doing like 4K recording, or when I'm doing some heavy testing or running heavy AI workloads, well, then the fan will start blowing. But then also, I don't find the noise to be very annoying. And I am very sensitive to this stuff. So if you watched my Minis forum review, I really didn't like the noise of that thing. This one is just a standard laptop fan noise, I would say. It's just a very soft whoosh kind of sound. It's not like this high kind of thing. It's just air moving, right? And so even if it is blowing hard, I don't find the noise annoying. But as I said, during my normal day-to-day work, or when I have it open like this, the fan doesn't even turn on. So that is a big plus for me. Moving on to the cons, because it's not all positive and it's not all sunshine in Framework 13 land. One of the biggest things that I discovered, what I was very disappointed with, is the camera. Turning on this camera on a video call instantly brings me back to 2016. Like, it's a grainy, ugly ass camera where it looks very unprofessional, and I cannot believe that with a machine at this price point has such a bad camera in it. Like, I didn't really research it beforehand, but if I had known, I'm not sure if I even went for it. I would have gone for it, because at this point in this era, I don't think it's acceptable to have such a low quality camera in the device. Now, for me, when I'm traveling with this in my camper van, I will almost always have an external webcam anyway. Like, to record videos, I will bring something like a DJI. I will probably, if I'm having like professional meetings for my business or for work, I would then hook this up to it and then have at least a decent camera. But most of you are not going to be in that situation. And I would say it's good enough, but if I would use this as my daily device for taking video calls, etc., I would almost say it's almost obligatory to have a separate webcam, because this is just not acceptable in this day and age anymore. Moving on to the speakers. Now, I was also disappointed with the speakers. It's fine for just normal day-to-day work, but if you're used to MacBook speakers or even iPad Pro speakers, you're going to definitely notice a downgrade. And it's fine for just having a YouTube video on the background or doing calls, but I really enjoy higher quality audio. I'm not an audiophile, but if I just watch videos on my iPad Pro, the sound is better than on this thing. It has a bit of a tinny sound, and again, it's fine for when I'm on the road. I will usually have headphones anyway, so in that sense it's not a real issue for me. But if speakers are important to you, then yeah, this is definitely a con. The third con is of course the battery life. It is no secret that if you want to have elite battery life, then the silicon MacBooks are by far the best devices on earth. On the other hand, I am quite surprised with how much I am getting out of this. So I'm running Fedora Linux, Fedora Atomic Sway on this, Fedora Linux, and I usually get about 6 hours of battery life for my normal day-to-day work. And I'm not doing any special tuning or throttling or whatever. This is just the default configuration, and I'm getting about 6 hours from it. Now, 6 hours for me in my use case is fine. Like, I'm a bit of a recluse, so I will either be at home, I will either be at the office or traveling around with my camper van. So I don't find myself often in situations where I won't have access to power. So I don't like working in like coffee shops or that kind of thing, or working outside. I don't do that much. So for me, it's not a real issue. But if you are dependent on having like full days of battery life like you will get on the MacBook Pro, well, then do consider it. This brings me to the next point, which is having to carry around a charger cable. So I haven't carried around charger cables since 2020. I think that's what was when I had my MacBook, my first MacBook. And ever since I started using those, I basically never brought a charging cable with me anymore. Now, when I'm going to like a conference like KubeCon the other day, well, then I would have to bring a charging cable. And it's not even bringing the cable itself is not even the issue. It's remembering to bring the cable. It's such a luxury to know that your MacBook Pro is going to be good for 2 days of use all the time. So I would never even think about bringing cables anymore. So I have to like get back into remembering having to bring a cable. So it is a bit of an annoyance in that sense. But as I said, I'm not very often in that situation. So the only exception would be like KubeCon, like going to a conference and I'll be away all day and I must be sure that I have enough power. Then I will bring my cable. But in my normal day-to-day life, like I just have the charger at home. So I will charge it when it's needed. And in the office, I will hook it up to a docking station. I will link which docking station I use, but that incidentally has been a very smooth experience. I just configured it in Sway. I hook it up to my docking station. instantly connects to my screen, my peripherals, my keyboard, my camera, everything. No issues with that at all. So for me, that experience is very smooth. I'll be at home, throw it in my backpack, and I will then come to the office, hook it up to the docking station, which of course includes power as well, right? So there's no issue for me in that sense. Now, one advantage to the charging is that it's USB-C. So contrary to the MacBook, where I would have to bring like a dedicated charger to charge my MacBook while I'm on the road in my camper van, well, in this case, I can actually just bring my USB-C charger and charge all of my other devices with that charger as well. So in that sense, it's actually a bit of an upgrade for me, where I can just have the one charger and charge all of my other devices, which when you're operating in a small camper van is a consideration. And the final con I'll share is related to the screen. So if you like working outside, which I do when I'm on my camping trips, I will sit in front of my camper at my table and work. I noticed that when you are working in the sunshine, the screen does not really hold up and it's not a very comfortable experience. This counts for almost every laptop. It's not a unique thing to this laptop, but with my MacBook Pro, there is an application that you can download. I'm not affiliated with them. It's like $2, but this will allow you to increase the brightness of the MacBook Pro screen. And that helped kind of. It's still not a good experience, but it's better than what I was able to get out of this one. So many people like to have this dream, or oh, I'm going to be working remotely on Bali from the beach. Before you do that, try sitting in the park with your laptop and seeing what it's like to work in the sun, or on the beach for that matter. It's not a good experience at all. So if you want to do quality, focused work, sit inside at a desk, that's the thing. But if you do value working outside and you're currently having a nice experience doing that, then I would definitely at least see if you can borrow one of these or try it out, because I'm a bit disappointed with that as well. Maybe there are some tricks that I can do that I haven't discovered yet. Maybe I can like supercharge the brightness like you can do on the MacBook, but I've been having it at 100% and it was still not good enough for me. If you have any tips for me, please let me know in the comments, because yeah, I do want to work on this thing in the sunshine as well. So to bring it all together, should you buy one of these? Well, I do not regret my decision. I still love this machine. I do not regret it, but that is because I really value being platform independent. I value privacy, and at this stage in my life, I just require to run Linux wherever I am. I do not want to go back to any of these proprietary operating systems. My career as an engineer has developed in that sense that I cannot live without Linux anymore. So to me, any device that runs Linux is better than a Windows or Mac laptop in that sense. And I also value privacy and interoperability a lot. Like I like to be able to have control over which operating system I choose to run. So for me, this is the right choice. The second thing about this is that this is, of course, also optimized for running local AI. To be fair, I have not done any like heavy local AI workloads on this thing yet, but I have experimented with a few models, and so far it has been a really good experience. So to me, I really value that I can have a portable Linux device that also allows me to run local GPU accelerated AI, which is something that I'm currently in my own journey as an engineer diving much deeper into. So when I'm on the road, even from my camper, I have access to Linux. I'm running everything privately. I know exactly what's running on this thing, and I can experiment with local AI. So for me, it's the perfect solution. Whether all these things matter for you, only you can decide. To me, it's worth the inconveniences with the battery, with the screen, and with the camera. For me, running Linux with local AI on the road far outweighs those disadvantages, and I have solutions for each of these problems for my own workflows, so I do not regret it for a second. Also, there is an element about voting with your dollars. So it's important to me that I support companies that align with my visions, and in this case, the Framework is a company that supports being able to repair your device, to choose your own hardware, to own it for a long time, and Apple does not do that. They deliberately make it difficult for you to fix your own device. They keep it closed source. They keep it very hard for you to do upgrades or anything like that. So to me, that matters. And like ideologically, I am much more inclined to pay money to a company that supports that kind of vision rather than Apple. So that is also very important to me, and I vote with my dollars, basically. So this has been my experience. I have zero regrets. I'm very happy with it, and I'm going to continue to be a happy user of this machine. And let me know in the comments if you have one of these and if these videos help you to decide. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.